Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Neki broadcast. Today we are thinking in Wesnoth, and I am playing Lead Fox on Hamlet's nice aggressive map. However, I have one of the most non-aggressive factions in the game. Therefore, it's going to be an interesting match. I will try to be aggressive with elves. Let's see how I fare. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will try to get a cheesy archer here. Of course, I failed miserably. Nevertheless, archer is a useful unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, I'm not too bothered about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should be absolutely fine. As you can see, this one can reach strong resilient scout. That's what I like to see. Now, in terms of follow-up recruits, I would say strong dexterous fighter. That is absolutely brilliant. Intelligent dexterous, not that good. Therefore, I will be going with another fighter simply because I fear the fact that he is obviously orc, and at the same time I can be aggressive with fighters, no problem, as long as I have a shaman in my army. Actually, I think shamans are one of the most aggressive units that elves have. Now, in terms of another follow-up recruit, I would say another fighter, simply because I want to be aggressive, but at the same time I don't want to die to an orc rush. With this being said, I will try to recruit more archers, and with a combination of archer fighter, I expect to launch a relatively massive attack soon. However, this might fail miserably depending on his faction, and it's important that I recruit a shaman. Why? Because if he overextends just a bit, the shaman would immediately slow that unit down, and that unit is doomed to die, or basically he needs to retreat with his whole army from that vulnerable position, and I will be basically capturing that unit and using it for experience. So from this perspective, shaman is the unit that can convert a defensive position into an offensive position. And I would say there are a lot of trees on this map. The proportion of forest is quite significant, and there are a lot of hills, mountains. I would say if he's dwarf, this strategy would be a bit doomed to fail, simply because dwarves units are so sturdy. Even with an elvish fighter, even if I slow a dwarvish fighter and I surround him with a bunch of dwarvish fighters, the elvish fighters, obviously, the dwarvish fighter will deal a lot of damage to the elvish fighters in return. So if you guys manage to make sense of dwarvish and elvish there, who was dwarvish, who is elvish, please write in the comments, because I have managed to confuse myself. Anyway, but you understand the basic idea, and as I was rambling on, it seems there is my turn once again, and I shall not get that particular village. Strong dexterous needed, resilient dexterous much needed, archer just to scout forward, and in terms of quick dexterous, again needed. Why is that needed? Because I want to have a quick fighter here to be able to play around, whereas my attack would be on the left hand side. So with this being said, let's see what his faction is. Good spirits here. Seems everybody's trying to boast about their skills, about their keyboards, about their strategies, about their mind games. Unless he is dwarf, then I would have no problem in making an attack work. If he is indeed dwarf, then I would be well, I'll be bored to death, and I will bore you, ladies and gentlemen, as well, simply because I can't attack. I have to wait for him to attack, and I have to wait for him to make a mistake. I will have to perhaps recruit a ridiculous amount of mages and try to force some kind of innovative attack. And he is Drake, ladies and gentlemen. This will be incredibly interesting, and I'm suddenly incredibly satisfied with my recruits. No mages whatsoever. I'm recruiting mage. First is a bit of a risk anyway, simply because if he's orc, mage is a simply useless unit in defense, and it also takes up a lot of gold, which could have been invested in fighters. Well, fighters and archers are going to fare quite well versus drakes, and it's up to me when I attack and how. I feel that drakes can't really attack versus elf. Plus, it's always about the mix of units. For example, if I have strong strong fighters are obviously extremely efficient versus saurians. If I have dexterous archers are extremely efficient versus drakes. If I have neither, then probably Drake can outpower me with Drake fighters, and this is what he's going to try to do. He's going to recruit a bunch of Drake fighters, and he's going to fly all over the place and form a line and be able, due to the mobility of Drakes, to try to bully me into all sorts of defensive positions. However, I will not have such a thing. I will try to obviously be aggressive back, and as you can see, I'm not sure whether this is a trap or not with the, you see there is a trap here, so if he was definitely planning to go for my fighter, and I'm not going to fall for this trap, obviously. However, what I am going to do, I am going to recruit. I'm suddenly not too keen on recruiting a shaman. However, I am keen on recruiting more archers, and I will be launching an attack, and it's a dexterous archer. This is absolutely fantastic. I'm keen on launching an attack with lots of elves, quite early, while I can still out recruit him, basically. So in terms of his attack, I'm not too bothered about it. Okay, I am a bit bothered about it actually, simply because I pushed my fighter forward. I don't understand why. I'm trying to recall, probably I was distracted to the fact that I was talking to you, ladies and gentlemen. And he's going to have an attack at night. It's never going to work. I instead have other plans, and I will be the one who is going to push for an attack at night on the left flank. So the the dynamics is just going to be exactly the opposite. At least this is what I plan to do. No way is he going to take this village with a glider. My leader is simply too good at countering that. Earthcake. I think I played with him during the last episode on my channel is the previous episode on my channel is a game with Earthcake. Definitely watch that. It was a complete thriller on Frillans, and definitely worth watching. Well, unless you have a vulnerable heart, don't watch it. It's just full of tension, basically, and you never know what is going to happen until the very end. Anyway, it seems that we are both talking here like two people who can't really understand each other. So, for example, he is a he's deaf and I am deaf as well, right? And we can't actually understand what we are saying. So I'm saying I'm going to attack on the left hand side, and he's saying I'm going to attack on the right hand side, and I'm going to do a lot of damage, right? Simply because he thinks the Clasher deals a lot of damage during the night. That is true. However, I think that my elves can also do. Okay, he is really serious about this. He really wants to intimidate me. I do have a strong dexterous fighter here, so I should be able to defend versus all this, I feel. I can't really surround him, though. That is the problem. And at the same time, probably I can't. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, right? Whereas I have. Wow. Thing is, with elf, without having the possibility to swarm, you can't really do much. And the let's say his units do have um, do have the potential, especially the Clasher, to deal damage at night. And with these augurs and skirmishers, he does have a good potential for damage. So instead of me complicating issues, right, I'm half tempted to turn back. I think he's called my bluff, and well done from him. Props to him. For the sake of art, I would continue to push forward. However, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. I only have 4 units here to defend, so I'm not really sure. However, I'm going to push forward, and I called his bluff now. So all these units, I will go forward. I will go with absolutely everything forward, and I will grab his villages. And guess what? Who is better at staying in those villages, me or him? Well, I dare to say that I am better than him, and I would play conservatively in terms of villages taken. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not even too worried about that. Perhaps I can. Yes, perhaps I can be safe here, and I can also have a decent reach. Now, I will say what are my concerns. My concerns are the Saurians. They don't really deal that much damage, and they do take a lot of damage in return. So, from this perspective, my concerns are drakes. However, this Saurian ogre could just camp on this village. However, if he does camp on this village, then there will be not enough damage on this strong, dexterous elvish fighter. I do have some peers here, therefore I'm going to recruit another elvish fighter here. And I would say that intelligent resilient, I will recruit even more. Once they get the village, I'll recruit even more. Perhaps elvish fighter, perhaps something else. I really don't know. However, I will be recruiting and then attacking these units. So it's basically attack versus attack. Everybody calling everybody else's bluff. Who will win? Who will get the villages? I'm a bit concerned for him because he can't really hold villages with this Drake fighter. I can hold villages pretty well with my elvish fighters. However, I'm only holding one village at the moment. I have a strong leader for attack though, so it remains to be seen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. And I will be recruiting one more, so we shall see who does what. So I have a commando of 4 units on the left hand side. He has a commando of 6 units. His attack is much stronger than mine, I must admit. However, once I get into the village, unless he recruits Saurian augurs, then I am fine. So if I can force some Saurian augurs at this moment and make his army a bit more augur heavy, as long as I can kill the drakes, then I feel I am fine. ladies and gentlemen, I would say that this is coming down to the wire. Is he going to make the attack or is he not? Am I going to take these villages or am I not? It depends on his leader, it depends on his recruits. I'm only seeing a dwarvish fighter. A dwarvish fighter again. I'm only seeing a Drake fighter. I seem to have fixation with dwarves for some other reason. I'm not really sure. Now, if he does attack with all these units, I doubt he'll just use his shiny drakes on my elvish fighter. And if he does, his units are going to be so weak that I will be able to clean them up with archers, fighters, leader, whatever, really. So it remains to be seen how he decides to play this. It's a really interesting idea here. Both sides attacking themselves. It's like a chess gambit. Nobody is basically wasting time in defending. So this tells me he's keen on killing a unit and getting the village. And I don't blame him. It is really okay. It's really slow for some other reason. I'm not really sure. But he wants a unit and a village. He's not really interested in this village. Why? Because my leader can attack it. That is actually pretty good for me. Is he going to attack now with the clasher? I would expect him to do so with the fighter. However, I'm 60% and he deals no damage. See, his attack is not that strong. If he had 2 augurs, I would have been scared. However, he does not. Will he go back? What is he doing? Oh my god. Does he want to just backstab me? I just feel that clasher could have taken this or could have. I don't know why this is so slow. The input is so slow. The animation is so slow. So accelerating speed, that is absolutely fine. Anyway, I'm in a great position. So attack versus attack, you see more fighters. He's not in a position to defend versus. So if he was serious about defending these villages, he would have recruited augurs. However, he knows he can't be out. He can't be exaggerating over recruiting, over recruiting augurs. He knows he needs to recruit Drake units in order to win. And I know that I need to somehow make something happen with this attack. Okay, so from this perspective, I would say I would put my, not really sure, say resilient dexterous, definitely here. Quick dexterous, definitely here. Oh, a lot of Drake fighters. A bit surprised with his recruits. Okay, so now I will even put this in the middle of the road, in the middle of the field, simply because I am not too bothered about retaliation damage, bothered about killing Drake units. Now, in terms of, again, I've put one unit on the plain field. I might as well put another one. So from this perspective, I will be putting this. Okay, we'll be putting this scout. So he has too many targets now. I am basically, I could put this a bit more forward, and I actually will do. I don't want him to get too many villages. I mean, if he does get this village, I want at least this fighter to be able to hit it. I do have 2 fighters. I am thinking of recruiting a 1, 2, 3, 4, even a wows at this point, but let's not overdo it. Let's just recruit an archer. Very safe. And can reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can reach both villages, and should be more than fine. I feel. Okay, a lot of damage on the clashes, so he will have to go back. Now, in terms of what do I do with this particular glider, I would say even attack it at this point. I don't need to do much. I don't need to stay with commit a lot of units here. I can even go back at this point. So if I do go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, doesn't really matter to be honest. But I could even go back and do some damage into this glider, so then it will be much easier later on to kill him. So I could even stay with my leader back. I really don't need my leader anymore because this attack is now 4 versus 4. And all I needed my leader to do is basically attack this village here and attack this village here, put some pressure on these villages. And I don't need him to deal damage anymore. I feel that it's, since I have 9 villages now, I have 2 villages over my opponent. It's much more important that he recruits and he obviously attacks whenever possible. So from this perspective, it will be fine if I just keep my leader on the keep. Okay, so it has gone well. I took less damage than I should have, and he did risk a lot by attacking here, so he did need the damage. However, I was on 60%, so that leader is going to hurt. However, it's a bit better than a Drake fighter. It deals a bit less damage, and as you see, he did not recruit any augur, although he would need the augur versus 60% because obviously magic damage does not care about defense. However, he did not recruit. He knows that the way to go versus elf is Drake units. And this is what I was hoping to do with my little skirmish here, with my little commando. I was hoping to convince him to recruit more augurs, which obviously he didn't. And good for him that he didn't. Yeah, this... But again, Drake units are pretty expensive. So when I pushed my commando here, he did not have enough units to defend, and especially Drake fighters at night, they really don't deal damage. They take a lot of damage in retaliation. It's really not. And plus, Drakes are not the faction to do skirmishes. They are not the faction to fight a bit here on the right hand side, then have a small fight left, and then benefit from distracting the attention of their opponent. They distract their own attention when they are playing this way. With Drake, you have to really move as one army until your army is so large that you can create a front line wherever on the map, right? So it can be like this, it can be like that. You don't really care about terrain, and you try to form the front line wherever you think it would benefit you mostly. That is the beauty of Drakes, and this is, in my opinion, how Drakes should be played. Now, I do have 2 village fighters in his villages, and I do have the momentum here. So from this perspective, because everybody is just busy there, I'm just going to put the scout in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to deal more damage into this clasher. And I'm going to deal more damage into this fighter, right? I'm going to basically cause a fight. I'm going to cause a stir. If he wants to fight, sure, that is absolutely fine. I don't mind exchanging blows at this point, so I'm going to use melee on fighter, and I'm not even going to care about this village, because the moment he takes the village, he has 50% defense, right? So from this perspective, I really don't care. Now, in terms of his I am going to also, there are many targets here on 40% on the plane, on flat, right? So if it's one more, it really doesn't matter at this point. So I'm just going to push my units forward. I'm not going to care that much about positioning. And again, I am not really concerned about this Drake glider getting this village, because my leader now can be used to defend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could even recruit an archer here for good measure, and then I could just make it go the other way. I just want to prevent this Drake glider from doing any shenanigans. And at the same time, I could further discourage a fight here. And again, he will probably go for my scout. In his retreat, he will try to kill the scout. However, the reinforcements that the scout will get is impressive. the Elvish Scout is strong resilient, so I expect the Scout to deal a lot of damage in retaliation. In terms of what happens here on this villages, not particularly worried. I would rather keep them on 60% and give time to this army to do what they are meant here to do, kill a bunch of Drake units. He will need a lot of time to get these villages back. I'm on 60%, and it's only dawn. It's not even morning, so he will actually need a lot of time. He can't kill me unless he's very lucky. He can't really kill me now. It'd be impossible. He does not deal enough damage. Oh, 6. Oh god, Drake burners are absolutely beasts. I even forgot they deal 6-4. That is an insane amount of damage. Yeah, probably he will be able to get one village back. Forget what I said. Again, he went. I would have never go with this leader for 17-2 because you can get 0 out of 2. Go for 3. You might get 2 out of 3 most of the times, especially versus villages versus 60%. So I would highly recommend using the halberd attacks rather than, oh, never mind, everything is halberd. I would recommend using the blade attacks rather than the pierce attacks. Anyway, must be a bit frustrating. Was also a bit lucky, but to be fair, he has been attacking 60% defense all game because of the way he played. He shouldn't have gone for this fighter. In my opinion, he should have just retreated. He should have intercepted my commando of units, discourage it, make them turn back. He probably wanted again to make me defend the whole game, whereas I had other plans in mind. Well, we shall see. I think remains to be seen. Don't particularly expect him to do much at this point, to be honest. This is a good game, if you ask me. And well, could you try to, well, if I were in his position, I really don't know what I would do, to be honest. At this point, he's quite committed with all these units. I would say kill the scouts, perhaps even get this terrain with the skirmishers and kill this elvish fighter, and then try to kill the scout with the clash and with the fighter. Try to deal as much damage as possible before dying. So this is what he's doing. He's trying to deal as much damage as possible before dying. He knows these units are not coming back, so he's going for the archer. Is even better than what I said. And now he's probably going to go for the elvish fighter, or not even that. He's just going to grab some villages, basically give himself some more time. Yeah, that was good play. That was making the best out of a difficult situation, and he is, even the random number generator is giving him some credit, is giving him some hits, which is great to see. However, this particular clasher will not survive, and I don't expect this skirmisher to survive for long anyway. Plus, this fighter is dead, this clasher is dead. Expensive units, but he traded them. He didn't have any other choice. He traded them for an archer. It was also a quick, dexterous archer. He's making the best of this. Making the best of this scout here. Okay, so I would say be the way to go, and this would be the way to go. Try to reduce the movement of this glider, and if I do want to catch the glider at any cost, I'll just have to recruit a scout, and now I will definitely catch the glider. However, I'm wasting a lot of time here playing around with this glider, where I could, for example, reinforce my units here. I could do so many things. But anyway, I'm already doing plenty on this side of the map, so I will be going with, let's say, the clasher first and archer on 70%. Then I would say well, nothing can reach me here, so I would say archer here, simply because I want to be getting this glider if he runs too far. And at the same time, I would say fighters on this skirmisher, simply because he does not have a lot of attack damage. Now I could be even going from this side with the scout. However, I will not. I'll go for the more reliable approach, which is with the fighter, and then use the scout to get the village back. Don't waste any income. Now I have 2 scouts to catch this glider, and I have been playing around with my units, which made me lose the momentum on the left side. So props to Lead Fox for making the most out of this glider, and yeah. But he's in a difficult position, difficult situation. Anyway, this fighter will die. However, look how much time he lost. Look how many units he has injured in the process. This fight has more than paid for itself, and I would say, well, why not? Let's make things a bit even more difficult for him. Let's also put the leader forward. And from this perspective, I would say the fighter should be here. And that, make sure that the fighter can reach him as well. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 units to catch the glider. Nice glider play from Lead Fox. And we shall see now what his response is. However, he did lose a lot of units, and he's down in villages. And what matters most, he is Drake. So this is probably hurtful for some factions. For Drakes, it is particularly hurtful. They are, I feel, one of the worst factions to recover from prolonged disadvantage in terms of villages and income. And yeah, I mean, I do hope he does some damage here, because he did struggle in terms of luck. So he's dealing now. He's dealing his damage, and he will be able to get these villages back. However, he's lacking the units to get the villages back, simply because he has used all of them to deal damage. So it's a bit of a frustrating situation. And he will have to go back to recruit. However, he does not have funds to recruit that many units. So from this perspective, it's even more frustrating. Now, what I did with my other units, I basically killed some drakes. I did not waste time, and I do have them in pretty advanced positions on the right hand side. It might not seem that I did enough on the left hand side. It might seem that I got distracted with this glider, and I did. However, these units will be able to put pressure on the left hand side, because his units are already injured, so he won't be able to run much with the glider. And recruiting another glider at this point would just be so hurtful for him. And he does need the vision. He does need to see where I'm coming from. So from this perspective, the glider kill is that much more painful. Anyway, yeah, I fully agree with him. I feel him. It was a strategic mistake attacking with Drake so aggressively. He shouldn't have done it. But anyway, it's easy to talk now in hindsight. And I'm dealing too much damage with my leader. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least that. And I will be pushing my units forward now. I really don't care where exactly I'm placing my fighter. I want to be as advanced as possible, and I will be. I'm not really sure here what is the best course of action. Definitely, I'm going to use my scout to deal some damage. Definitely, I will use 5-4, 4-4. Okay, definitely going to use this. It's a lot of damage, but it's only a lot of damage if I hit. Is it now? Anyway, I'm going to use even this ranged versus the Saurian, which is a bit, let's say, cavalier, but at this point, it does not matter that much. Every single unit I kill is really painful for my opponent. Therefore, I'm going to go with these inefficient kills. I feel that it does not matter that much. Fortunately, I can't really level up any of my units at this point. So that is perhaps something that will come and hurt me. Plus, pushing these units on flat, again, he can't really attack me because he needs to get those villages. So you see, he's using the units to get the villages and heal. He needs to go back to recruit, and he just has only one unit to actually perform the attack. So he's not going to use that unit. In terms of this augur, I'm not sure. I don't think he will do any attacks whatsoever. He does need his hit points. He already has 7. He's already 7 hit points down. Oh, he actually did the attack. Okay, that's interesting. This would make my kill even easier at this point. Not really sure here. Perhaps this way would be best for the experience into the fighter. And at this moment in time, I think I'm even going to, inefficiently exchange blows with this fighter. Doesn't really matter.